Dumelang. Okay, let me clarify this issue. It's been since like but I understand it or what. The issue are Curro. It's legit, it's proper, it's right. Right? It's how business can be done. The problem is there's a smoking gun happening here. Otherwise they wouldn't come publicly. So when I come publicly and announce, oh, when they are good guys now, what? No, it's not. It's not. The issue with Curro moving from a JSE public company to a non-profit organization sounds like a huge red flags all over. There's a red flags all over. Don't know what I will explain. Let me give you background how Curro started. If my information that I have is right. Curro started by a project from a church. A church decided to do a school and proper school, and then congregation, people of the congregation should attend, bring their kids to school. Then it happens already. You had to actually book in advance actually to get your child a seat in the school. So move on. Then decided, you know what, to go public so it can raise funds, because a church cannot make money. Remember, a church or on itself cannot make money as an NPO. So it had to move from being an NPO under the church to a private company so it can actually raise more money, bring in shareholders, so it can build schools around South Africa in other provinces. Now, in other provinces, they had to get sub-investors to actually come invest in a form as if a franchise in a form. So if I have R1 billion and then I can say I can build certain schools, Kamo, Gauteng. So I buy the extension as a franchise. That's why over level Curro's Kamurikasi, Curro's could these suburbs aditwanika pricing, aditwanika operation. But the branding and everything is K1. It's just the difference between the fees. You can check a Curro Kamaradi suburb, street proper suburb, in its own sponsors compared to Curro that survives from school fees, accommodation, and other Curros. So they differ in how they operate because of certain investor who bought an extension sort of kariki, a franchise style. That's how Curro grew up, Kabin. Fine. Years and years and years. Now, Jiggy, some magician comes here and you go buy a Curro out of the JSE. Why? Because when Curro is in the JSE, another potential to lose market share and profit share, right? And also paying high tax as well. So in order to actually save the value of Curro from where it is to where it's supposed to be, because of the idea here is to ditch away tax. Tax is a huge issue here. But you cannot liquidate a running school. You rather transform it, get a buyer to come in. So the shareholders agreed to that takeover. It's not hostile, it's proper, it's how business can be done. To buy out Curro from as a public company into a private company, into a non-profit organization. But buying it and putting it into a NPO, so as their statement says, hey, we're gonna buy school fees, we're gonna pay what, we're gonna create more jobs, we're gonna have run it as if education, we're gonna invest in education. Nonsense. Why? Because of when you understand business and you study business, NPO is a place where we hide money, where we hide assets. First of all, fact number one, Curro schools sit on Curro land. That total schools all over South Africa. The value of that land is worth 1 billion rands. First of all, 1 billion of property. I'm not talking about the building, I'm talking about the land. It's worth 1 billion rands. So it's easy for top executive, like proper shareholders or big shareholders currently now, to be turned into executive of the school and then extended executives. Now, if they're executive, they can be executive from their private companies. So 5 people can have become a company. The company becomes executive to the school. Now, instead of making profit, remember, this is a non-making profit organization. Now, the huge amount of money that's going to be spent on this NPO is expenditure on executives. So executives are going to make a lot of money. Because of right now, the NPO is going to pay them as people who are actually working in an NPO organization. And now, another thing is that as an NPO, Curro is going to be exempted from paying tax because it doesn't have to make money. But the executive, who are individuals who are big funders of Curro, get to loan against the land property of Curro. And it's easy for them to actually make a lot of money and then make big chunks of loan, a lot of loans. So I wrote some of the other things because one of the biggest thing is revenue flow. Now, school fees, hostel and aftercare, donation and sponsorship, and also the most important thing is government subsidies. Government also needs to partake in terms of certain subsidies, in terms of grade and certain other things as well. Now, obviously, they will try to supply or no, this is a legitimate expenses. We've got teacher salary, maintenance, textbook, classroom equipment, building certain other new schools. Because remember, if they make money through school fees, they need to balance the books so they don't make money. So they have to break in even. So if you got certain level of expenses, you need to income, you need to bring it down to it levels your expenses, meaning spending more so you can level up your income and expenses. Now, also becomes in a surplus of management. Instead of profit, Curro will then record what they call surplus of revenue, meaning measuring incomes versus expenses. In a profit, because if they have to, in profit, when you make profit, you must pay 27% of tax with that profit. But in a non-profit organization, therefore, there's no dividend, there's no place because of the money is going to be reinvested back into the school. Now let's speak about this executive packages. Now, remember, there's no profit. Everything else has to be reinvested. So part of reinvesting of Curro will have to actually pay an executive a lot of money. Now, I mean, we're talking about the CEO, the CFO, the HR, what, right? So these people, they can draw a lot of multi-million rand packages. I mean, salaries, a lot of salaries of these people to actually make money from this. So if you got 15 executives, these people representing extended executive, these people they actually pay from 100,000 up to 10 million worth of salary monthly because of Curro needs to balance expenditures. Now, after all this, where is the hostility lies? Because of every takeover, there is hostile takeover, gentle takeover. Where is the hostility? The hostility lies against SARS. Number one, these guys are no longer going to pay tax. Million rands of tax, they're no longer going to pay tax. Secondly, hostilities against shareholders. Now, because they remove shareholders, they're no longer shareholders. Those people who were shareholders, big shareholders, will be turning to executive. 3, the hostilities against transparency. Now, the shift from a system where only auditors have a say, auditors and SARS have a say in terms of having Curro to disclose some of the information. Because of their NPO, they do not have that responsibility to disclose their profits. They do not have responsibility to disclose how much they made, what. Because of right now, as a non-profit organization compared to a public company that is listed in a JSE, you have to disclose. But right now, they won't disclose. So Curro will still make a lot of money. The difference is non-profit, no dividends, no corporate tax, state money will be recycled into genuine school expenses, potential symphony through executive packages, related party contract, and assets control. It's the difference between the gray side and the clean side. So it's a give and take situation, but Curro will stand to make a lot of money.